Hey guys, it's Ash. I know a lot of people hear about road rage and how crazy it can be, but you don't really know how crazy it can be until you experience it for yourself. Yesterday, I was driving home from a friend's house to come home and eat dinner, and I was turning into my neighborhood. I just so happened to turn in right after the person that turned in before me, like I didn't stop to wait because it was a green light. And then the person in front of me got off to go into the first section of the neighborhood, so I kept driving like normal to my section, which is the second section of the neighborhood, and I looked in my rearview mirror and noticed the person behind me now had jerked his car out from that section. So I thought, oh, maybe he just is here for the first time and is turning into the wrong neighborhood, got directions wrong, something like that. I go on my way as usual and I turn into my section of the neighborhood. And I look in my rearview mirror again and I notice that he's still behind me. So I think, I'm glad he got his directions right, and he keeps following me. He is so close to me. He is tailgating me so hard. I'm tempted to tap my brakes just to piss him off, but I decide against it because if I tap my brakes, he would probably hit me. That's how close he was. So I go and I turn onto my street. He turns onto my street after me. So I'm like, okay, I think he lives on this street. I don't know. The car kind of looks familiar, I guess. So I pull into my driveway and he pulls up behind me and rolls down his window. I get out of my car and he proceeds to cuss me out, saying, if you ever tailgate me again, you'll regret it. And he keeps cussing me out using like a bunch of like really bad slang words for a female. And then he circles back around and rolls down his window again. He continues to cuss me out and threatens me, saying, I know where you live now, and if anything like this ever happens again, I will come and find you. That's when I shout back that a cop lives on the street, and if he tries anything, he will get arrested. And he shouts back several more cuss words and terrible slang words and speeds off. Now at this point, my neighbor comes over and asks me if I'm okay. He had no idea what was going on. He thought it was a friend of mine coming to see me, and we were trying to figure out where my friend would park. He comes over and apologizes profusely. I'm just trying to get inside because at this point I am very shaken up. When I get shaken up or angry, I start to cry. So I thank him and tell him it's no big deal and just go inside. At this point, I start crying. My family had gotten a bottle of Dom Perignon, which is like champagne from France. It was real champagne, not sparkling wine. My dad decided to get all dressed up for it. He was wearing like a fancy black suit and a black tie. He gets pissed because this guy followed his daughter home and threatened her. He gets in his car, so he gets this cane that he has that's black with a gold handle, and we start driving around the neighborhood looking for this guy. I go along because I can recognize the car. So we drive around the neighborhood and see a couple cars that look like his, so my dad pulls over and goes up and knocks on the door and is asking very like stern questions and then apologizes when it's not him, and I have to explain the whole situation of what happened. I think a couple of the houses that we knocked on, the people got pretty freaked out. The look on their faces were really like, oh, who is this guy? What does he want? So we got back in the car after the second house. By then it was too dark to see anything, so we decided to head home. But on the way home we were laughing that my dad kind of looked like a hitman. And if you know my dad, he is the sweetest guy. He's got this really dorky personality. You don't think he could hurt a fly. But when he gets angry, he gets angry. So we started coming up with a plan. If we found this guy, we would pretend that he wasn't my dad, but that he worked for my dad, and that I basically hired a hitman on the guy that tailgated me home. Just like, oh, you've upset some very powerful people. And like, is this him, miss? It was a pretty wild night last night. I know I promised a video for the day in the life of Disney. That's coming up soon. I'm working on it, so keep looking for that. It's taking a lot of work to put all the clips together. Thank you so much. If you want to hear more crazy stories about my life, be sure to like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. Talk to you later.